Hello, this is David from Car.Cornwall in Penryn. Today we've got a bumper repair on a Renault Twingo, and this is a standard smart repair. I hope you enjoy the video. The first job is to make sure the area is clean. It had been raining, so I had to make sure there was no water lurking anywhere that would come out and spoil the job. You should be able to see the tiny marks on the bumper there, damage caused by clobbering a post. I do love granite in Cornwall, it really is my friend. After removing the rear light cluster, I can get on and sand down the damaged area on the bumper. Sorry the video is a bit low here, I will correct it shortly. So I do a little bit of masking up on the area that I don't want to touch, and then get the sander out with 180 grit and sand the damaged area out so I can see exactly what needs filling. I'm filling the damage with a very light filler just because it really isn't deep, and then get the infrared lamps on to cure it. I put on some black powder called dry coat to show me where any low areas are once I've sanded out the filler. I've spotted a couple of pinholes, so I'm going to fill that with a very fine filler and then sand it back level. Now I can do the masking ready for primer. This masking initially is just to cover the area that I'm going to prime, but I do take the opportunity to cover larger areas like that big plastic lump sticking out. No idea what that's supposed to do, it's part of the bumper and it wouldn't come off. I then roughen up the surfaces, or key the surfaces that are going to be painted to make sure that the paint's going to adhere properly. Next I sand the areas where I use the 180 grit paper just to make sure that there's a nice smooth transition there for the primer. After cleaning, I start to apply this masking that's specific for the areas that I'm priming. Because it's a plastic bumper, I need to apply a chemical to make sure there's a good bond between the plastic and the paint called Adhesion Promoter. Then I can get my first coat of primer on. I'm using aerosol primer simply because it's a very light area of damage, doesn't need any special attention. Primer is just there to give a good surface for the paint to attach to. I can now sand down the primer with 400 grit abrasive to give a perfect surface for the paint, which was of course the next job. After yet more cleaning, I can then start the masking for paint and lacquer. You'll notice on the left hand side there's some work going on. It's a repair to the sill, but I wanted to show a standard bumper repair. So now I'm going to join the two areas together with the masking so that I can paint both and lacquer both together. Now we can get the first coat of colour on. It's just a light coat to get things started. While I'm painting that, on the left hand side there's some primer drying, and as soon as that's dry and sanded down, then I'll be painting that. This last coat, or drop coat, is just a very dry coat that goes on. It ensures that the silver metal particles sit correctly and reflect the right light correctly. As you can see, the left hand side has been painted to match, so I'm ready now to start lacquering. And here's the first coat of lacquer going on. The second coat is a little heavier, and it allows the lacquer to flow a little and improve the final appearance. Obviously you're not supposed to run out of lacquer at this point, and it was only a little bit, but I had to do it, so I went and quickly made up some more just to finish off. Finally, a special blending agent is put on to just blend out the edges of the lacquer from the new lacquer into the old. I'm removing masking from inside door shuts and everything, so as to make sure there are no hard edges anywhere. Finally, we get the infrared lamps on and cure all of the lacquer. It's not unusual to get little bits of dust here and there in the paintwork, and that's removed with a bit of wet and dry and water. Then we can get on to the polishing. I like to use a denim pad, which is quite aggressive, but it allows me to get the orange peel that's present on all cars to match with the existing. It's important that the joins where the new lacquer meets the old is polished well, and so it becomes an invisible connection. You can see the shine coming through as I'm polishing. I spotted another little nib there, so I've taken that out with the wet and dry, and now I'm polishing up that area. The job's finished off with a much finer compound to really bring up the shine in the paintwork. The light cluster goes back in, and then a final buff up to finish off the job.